Hello and welcome to Rathod's IAS. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 23rd July 2023. So we are going to see some interesting topics in this lecture. So don't skip the video. So watch till the end so that you will be getting a lot of insights regarding current affairs and even the recent happenings and how you are going to connect with the static syllabus, everything. Okay. So first topic it is about invasive weed threatens elephant habitats in Tamil Nadu. So first I want to give you one question, that is, in which state there is a lot of elephants or the large number of elephants are present in our country, and you have to see elephant census. So for how many years there will be the elephant census will be done. For example, if you are talking about tiger census, so for every 4 years we will be having tiger census. So in the same way, so for how many years we will be having elephant census. So for these two questions I am expecting the answer that will be there in the comment box. So here we are going to talk about this keyword, that is invasive species. So it is also called as IAS. So I am not talking about Indian Administrative Service here, it is invasive alien species. So in this invasive alien species we will have both plants and as well as animal species. So plants comes under flora, and animal comes under fauna, right? So here in this invasive alien species we will be having both plants and as well as animals. So this article which is talking about one plant species. So here we have to understand what exactly this invasive alien species is and why it is increasing in number and how it is going to threaten ecological diversity of that area and how it is going to affect fauna which is present in that area. And here we have to see how this plant species is having or is impacting livelihood of these elephants. And you have to see whether there is any law which is present in India deals with this invasive alien species or not. So this topic is important from your environment and ecology, which comes in as US paper 3. And next one is cloudburst. I think you might have heard about this cloudburst number of times. So one important consequences that you can see in news is because of cloudburst that led to floods, especially that is flash floods. So what is the difference between the cloudburst and rainfall? So rainfall is also called as precipitation, and this precipitation is a commonly seen word in your NCERTs. Rather than seeing this rainfall, you will be seeing this word alternative, that is precipitation. So precipitation is nothing but rainfall. So why this cloudburst is causing flash floods? Sometimes excessive rainfall will also cause the floods, right? But there is a small difference between this cloudburst and rainfall. So rainfall means normally the rain we are getting, okay, but here cloudburst means within 1 hour there will be 100 mm, okay, 100 mm of water that is seen, okay. So very heavy rainfall that is seen in a very short period of time. So because of this, that will lead to the flash floods. So I want to give you one example, like, so if you are filling a balloon, so you are taking a balloon and if you are filling a balloon and suddenly if you prick that balloon, how water will comes outside. So the same way, this is the one example, classic example to understand this cloudburst, okay. So here we have to know about what is this cloudburst and what exactly the reasons for this cloudburst and whether we can predict this cloudburst or not. So if you're talking about monsoon season, if you're talking about any disaster like earthquake, volcano, so there are some predicting measures or predicting technologies or techniques such that we can understand we are going to have earthquake, we are going to have tsunami, we are going to have cyclones, we are going to have a volcano, etc. But regarding this cloudburst, so cloudburst, it is a new disaster that I can say, and in these recent years there is increased incidence of this cloudburst. So whether there are any predicting tools are there or not. So this is very important, and this topic is important from your geography. And if you are talking about floods, flash floods, so this topic you can connect with your disaster management, which comes under again GS paper 3. And next topic is freed laborers bonded to past in Odisha. Yes, from history. So if you see history, there is a concept called as bonded labor or slavery in India. And this slavery terminology that you can see frequently if you are going through the British period or India during this British era. So here, after we got independence, even today in this 21st century, so if I ask you a question whether slavery is present or not, so what will be your answer? Whether yes or not? Yes or no? Yes, from my side, the answer is yes. Even though if we are in this era, so even though in this 21st century also, even though there are number of acts which are present in our country, and even our Constitution of India, which mainly gave fundamental rights, so even though a lot of measures taken by the government of India, still slavery and bonded labor is present in India, and this is the evidence. So if anyone asks if either slavery is present in India or bonded labor is present in India, and the answer would be yes from your side. And you can give the data of Ministry of Labor itself, that is from the government side. So I am going to show all those things. And next topic is INS Kirpan, decommissioned from Indian Navy, handed over to Vietnam at the present. So here we have to think why India need to give this INS Kirpan to Vietnam. So what is the relationship between India and Vietnam? And here you have to see the defense ties between India and Vietnam. So there are two important reasons why we have to give this INS Kirpan. So you can't find this in the today's newspaper article. So first and the foremost thing here is, if you know about the foreign policy of India, so we have look east policy. So in this look east policy, yes, Vietnam is one of the important country. So this is the first reason. And second important reason here is, so it will comes under the part of Indo-Pacific and is sharing boundary with this Indo-Pacific region. And you all know that there is increased significance of this Indo-Pacific region now. There is a shifting of the power from the west towards east. So in this power shifting, so the countries which are sharing boundary with this Indo-Pacific, they are going to play an important role. So in this context also, Vietnam is very important. Vietnam is sharing boundary with the South China Sea. This is second reason. And third important reason is commonality between India and Vietnam. So what is that commonality? So that is our enemy China, right? So India is also facing issues with the China regarding territorial integrity. So we are having disputes with China in three important regions. This is in western sector, central sector and eastern sector. And in the western sector, it is increasing its aggressiveness. And even in the eastern sector also, it is coming up with developing of model cities to occupy entire Arunachal Pradesh. And not only India, but even Vietnam is also facing this issue. Especially in the South China Sea, there are some islands like Spratly Islands, Parcel Islands. So regarding this also, there is a dispute going on with China and as well as Vietnam. So here this is a commonality between India and Vietnam. So in international relations, friend's friend will be friend and friend's enemy will be enemy, right? So with this concept, countries they will be coming towards and they will come with partnership, and countries they will be drifting away from each other. So this is the simple quote, simple principles that you have to understand. So this is about INS Kirpan. So here you have to see some details regarding this INS Kirpan also. And this topic is important from your defense point of view, which comes in the GS paper 3. And this topic is important from your prelims and as well as from your mains. So from mains, you have to see India-Vietnam defense relations. So recently, what are the developments? Okay. And next one is captive bred vulture. So here you have to understand what is this captive bred. For example, if you are talking about either flora or fauna, so we are facing threat of extinction. So why? Why? Because of human activities or anthropogenic activities, and because of climate change, because of global warming. So here whenever there is a decreasing the number of that so and so animal or plant, because of two important reasons, that may be the natural reasons and second one will be the anthropogenic reasons, that is human made activities. So here this vultures, when we are talking about this vulture, they play a very important role in our environment and as well as ecology. but no one knows about what is the role played by these vultures. And actually there is a bad image that is seen in the society regarding this vulture, because they will feed on the carcasses, that is dead bodies. But without this vulture, we can't expect our surroundings. We can't expect our surroundings to be clean. Okay. So here, whenever there is decrease in the number, we have to go for conservation. We have to go for conservation. So in this conservation, especially we have two important techniques. So first one is in situ conservation, next one is ex situ. In situ means in that site itself. Ex situ means we are taking that from one area to another area and we are going for conservation in the other than their natural habitat. So one such example here is captive breeding. Okay, so this is about this topic, and you have to see importance of vulture, and you have to see where these captive centers which are present in our India. So there are 4 centers and you have to see the location. And this topic is important from your environment and ecology, which comes under GS paper 3. And next topic is artificial intelligence. So there are a number of articles that are coming in newspaper regarding the applications of artificial intelligence. So recently we also saw an article that artificial intelligence used to find the frauds in Ayushman Bharat scheme. So how the fraud is done by the people and as well as hospitals, and this fraud which came into limelight by using this artificial intelligence. And now this article says that there are enormous benefits, and not only benefits, on another side there is also risk regarding this artificial intelligence. And this topic is important from your science and technology. And next topic is global GPS, that is global positioning system. Data indicates fault slip before large earthquakes. So whenever the magnitude of earthquake is high, that is more than 7, then in that case we can find the fault slips by using this GPS. And this topic is important from geography, where you will be reading earthquakes and different types of waves, and what are the causes of earthquakes, impacts of earthquakes, everything that you can see in your NCERT 11th class. So now let us try to see detailed analysis, and today is Sunday, there will be no editorial discussion. So first topic, it is about invasive weed. So here the name of this invasive weed here is Ludwigia peruviana. So here you have to see some important points like in which countries it is native. So it is native means in which countries it is actually present. So that is the first point of view. And you have to see whether it is a plant species or animal species, and you have to see whether it is aquatic or terrestrial. So it is aquatic or terrestrial, so that you can understand which ecosystem will be affected, that is aquatic ecosystem or terrestrial ecosystem. So based on that you can understand which animal is threatened because of that invasive species. So now let us try to see the context. So this weed is aquatic weed. Aquatic means it is present in water. So can you tell me another water invasive alien plant species in the comment box? So an aquatic weed native to some countries. So which countries? That is Central and as well as South America, and especially in Peru we can see this weed. So the name of this weed is on the name of this Peru, that is peruviana. Species name is peruviana. So this species which is threatening elephant habitats which are present in Tamil Nadu. So whenever there is increasing of invasive species, and because of that invasive species the native species will not grow. So whenever this native species is not growing, so animals, so it is a rough diagram of elephant. Okay, so here what happened, so this elephant will be feeding on this native species, but what happened now, there is increased growth of this invasive species. So because of this native species which is not grown, so there is a underdevelopment or decreased growth of this native species. So on which species now this animal will be feeding? So it is not getting enough food. It is not getting enough food or prey. So because of this, it will come out of its habitat. So this animal, for example, this is a habitat, but now there is decreased prey and food, so that this animal will be coming out. For example, if there are any human settlements here, so this animal will be coming in contact with these human settlements, and that will leads to human animal conflict. So this is one important reason. So one important reason for this human animal conflict is also invasive species. So here, if you move on to the details given, so there is no need of reading each and every point. So the points are important from UPSC point of view, you are going to extract them. So the species name is Ludwigia peruviana. So this plant species which grow very fast along water bodies, okay, and especially seen in swamps. So these swamps are called as vales in Tamil Nadu. So here, because of this increased growth of this species, that is invasive alien species, that led to decreased growth of lush grass. So this lush grass, it is a food for elephants. So because of this rapid large scale spread of this weed, which has probably introduced as an ornamental plant. So we got that plant and we used them as ornamental plant, and it is having tiny yellow flowers. You can see this image. So this is that aquatic weed. You can see these are the yellow flowers, and we are using them as ornamental plants. So because of the spread of this invasive alien species, that have shaken the balance of these perennial foraging grounds, and also it is limiting the growth of the grass and native plants which are used as a food for this elephants. Palatable means nothing but eatable. Palatable is nothing but eatable. So here, if you see this image on the screen, so you can see this is invasive alien species. This is invasive alien species, and here it is talking about how they are going to impact. So there is increased competition, there is hybridization, so it will be having negative impact on the grazing animals, biofouling, predation, poisoning, parasitism sometimes, and even that will also lead to disease transmission and interaction with other invasive alien species. So if we are talking about outcomes of impact, so we can see in two ways. The first one is environmental impact, and second one will be socio-economic impact. So if we are talking about environmental impact, that will lead to the modification of hydrology. Hydrology means related to water, and native species decline. So there is declining of the number of native species, and even sometimes it also leads to soil erosion, and even that will lead to the production changes, that is differences or alteration. And next one is plant or animal health will be also affected, and that will also lead to habitat degradation. And if we are talking about the socio-economic impact, so it will be leading to the agriculture damage. It will also lead to reduced access to the water, and also infrastructure damage will be seen sometimes. It will be also having negative impact on human health, and will also lead to damage to the forest, and it also leads to the decreasing of tourism. That means it will be leading to the negative impact on economy of our country. So this will be the environmental and socio-economic impact. So now let us try to see some basic facts regarding this. What is this invasive alien species? So an alien species is nothing but it is not present naturally, but we are bringing it from outside of our natural habitat. And experts they say that this species will become invasive when unintentionally or knowingly we are bringing that outside of the normal habitats, okay, and we are leading to the cause of disturbance for the local species and as well as environmental equilibrium in that area. So what are the features they have? So this features part is important from your prelims. So what are the features? So they will have rapid reproduction, they will be having rapid growth and high dispersal ability, and they have high ability to survive on various food types, and even what happened, they will be limiting the growth of native species. So because of this, it will be having a negative impact on economy, environment, and as well as people's health. So if you're talking about in which fields, we can see there is an impact. So here impact it is seen on agriculture, forestry, fisheries, natural systems, which are very much helpful for the leading of livelihoods in the developing countries. and this invasive alien species exacerbate, that means increases, incidence of poverty, and even that will also threaten development, okay, and especially climate change, pollution, habitat loss, human induced disturbances, they increases the damage. So if we're talking about the laws which are present in India deals with this invasive alien species, so India is attempting to combat invasive alien species for the first time through legislation. So actually till 2021, so there is no focus on this invasive alien species, but from 2021 onwards, actually whatever the law which have already we came up in year 1972, that is Wildlife Protection Act. So in this Wildlife Protection Act we came up with amendments. So amendments, and we are going to address this problem called as invasive alien species, IAS. So this Wildlife Protection Act reach is expanded by the bill's introduction of alien invasive species, and the central government, which has the authority to control over the outlaw the import, trade, possession or the spread of invasive alien species. So this will endanger India's wildlife or habitat under section 62A1. So actually this bill which says that invasive alien species refers to either animal or plant species, and it is not indigenously present in India, but we are introducing this or expanding the habitat of this species, and it will have negative impact on wildlife or its environment and ecology. So this is about this topic in every detail. So I tried to address almost all the dimensions. And now let us see next topic. It is about cloudburst. So cloudburst causes flash flood in Ladakh, no loss of life. So this article is very important, and now let us try to see context. So where the cloudburst happened? In Union Territory Ladakh. So this is also very important, and you can write about 2013 incident, and you can write about recent cloudburst incidents, okay, in Uttarakhand, etc. So a cloudburst triggered, and even because of this heavy torrential rainfall in northern India also we have floods recently. So a cloudburst triggered flash flood in Union Territory of Ladakh. So because of this cloudburst, that also leads to debris to flow into the main market area, okay. So this is about the context, and here you can see this image. This is a cloudburst. So this is a cloud. Suddenly what happened? Water is coming, okay. Whenever the balloon which is filled with water, which is pricked, what happened? How water will come outside once. So in the same way we can see this is a cloudburst. So we're talking about what exactly is cloudburst. So cloudburst refers to intense precipitation, that is very high rainfall over a geographical area. Especially we can see in mountain areas for a short period, and the rain falls at a rate of 100 mm per hour. So how much rainfall is recorded? That is 100 mm per hour over an area, and it should be like 20 to 30 square kilometers. So why this cloudburst will be occurred? So cloudburst, it is a result of condition where torrential downpour accompanied by hail and thunder. So there will be the very heavy rainfall, and there will be the hails and as well as thunders. There will be thunders, hails and as well as torrential downpour. So it occurs when the warm air currents block the raindrops from falling and causing an accumulation of water. So as you all know, first low pressure will be formed. So whenever low pressure is formed, the air which is heated, it will be going up. So it will be also carrying the moisture, and finally it will be condensed and forms a cloud. So whenever this cloud which is hitting any hill, what happens? Suddenly the water which is carrying in this cloud will be coming down, okay. So here in this way, here we can see the formation of this cloud burst. So what will be the consequences? The first and the foremost thing that you might have seen in the article itself, it is talking about flash floods, right? So here you know that it causes flash floods. And next one is it also causes landslides, mud flowing. So this mud flows are normally seen in this Kerala region. And next one is land cavings. So these are the four important consequences of this cloudburst. So if we're talking about the prediction of this cloudburst, as of now there is no satisfactory technique. There is no satisfactory technique for anticipating the occurrence of cloudburst, because they will be developing over a very short period of time. And even we need to have a very fine network of radars. Very fine network of radars is required, and they are able to detect the likelihood of cloudburst, and this would be expensive as well. So whenever we are going for the fitting of radar, so it will be very expensive. And S1 is only areas that are likely to receive heavy rainfall, they can be identified on short range scale. So much damage can be avoided by a way of identifying the areas and as well as meteorological stations that occur that are favor in the occurrence of the cloudburst. So actually what happened here is, so yes, in this cloudburst it leads to very heavy rainfall. So if you want to identify this heavy rainfall in the short period of time, so it is a very difficult task, and much of this damage can be avoided if we identify this cloudburst in the earlier. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us try to see the next topic. Title says freed laborers bonded to past in Odisha. So as I said, whether you will be accepting or not, so the truth here is, yes, there is a presence of bonded labor. There is a presence of slavery. So even though we have anti-slavery act, yes, still slavery is present, but at a minute scale. So if you see the context, it says that especially in this Tiruvallur district administration, they rescued about 335. You can see the number, it is very large. It is 335 members, and they are from the clans. They are freed by this authority from the from this clans under this Bonded Labor System Abolition Act of 1976. So way back in this 1976 itself, we came up with this Bonded Labor System Abolition Act. But still now, yes, we have the bonded labor. So actually they were freed in year 2015, but under this act they will be getting compensation. But these people till now, it is around 8 years, right? So after 8 years also, these people, they are waiting to get the compensation, and you can understand how our government is working. So they should have received 20,000 each from the Odisha and union governments under this anti-slavery act, but they are waiting for the compensation from almost 8 years from now. So here if you see the details, it says that the rehabilitation assistance which revised in 2016, but actually these people came out in 2015. But if they had freed in 2016, they used to get like 2 lakh rupees for women, 1 lakh rupees for women, and 3 lakh rupees for the pair, that is couple, along with their children or transgenders. So what exactly is this bonded labor? Bonded labor means nothing but people, they will be working for the very low or no wages. So we also call them as bonded labor or debt labor. And especially one kind of bonded labor is present. That means if my parents, they took some loans from the money lenders at the highest rate of interest, and if my parents, they are not able to pay back that, then I also need to work as a bonded labor. So this type of bonded labor is very much prevalent in India actually. And in many movies you can see, also in many advertisements also you can see this bonded labor. So if you're talking about this contemporary bonded labor in India, whether it is present or not, yes, bonded labor in India is still continuing, and it is a societal evil even today also. So according to Ministry of Labour and Employment, it says that still 3 lakh people, they're trapped in bonded labor in India. And especially children, they are most vulnerable group, okay, because parent loans they have to repay back. About 98% of these children, they are belonging to the lower caste. So this is also one important cause of concern. So still caste, it is the one thing that is seen. So even intercaste marriages, they will be not allowed. And even if you are going for this intercaste marriages, yes, you have to face discrimination for sure, and I faced that. So still I want to see the casteless society, but I don't know whether it will be the truth, it will be the reality that will come in the future or not. Yes, tell me your opinion regarding the caste, whether it is a phenomenon, it is going or not. So everyone will be seeing that which caste you are present, and caste based bias that is seen still in this society. So whether will you accept with me or not, please let me know in the comment box. So if you're talking about the laws which are present against bonded labor in India, so our constitution which provides some safeguards under fundamental rights, that is article 21 of our Indian constitution talks about right to life and freedom, to live with dignity. So it cannot be amended and directly opposes the exploitation of Indian citizens to the bonded labor. And not only this, directly we have article 23 which talks about abolishment of bonded labor. And in DPSP, like article 39, article 42 and article 43, which talks about right to secure and adequate livelihood. So it is also regarding the bonded labor. And even we have law, that is the Bonded Labor System Abolition Act. So that came into effect in 1976, and this act which seeks to protect the weaker sections of society as well. And next topic is about INS Kirpan decommissioned from Indian Navy, handed over to Vietnam as a present. So this article is talking about the gift we are going to give to this Vietnam, that is INS Kirpan. So here you have to know some detailed facts. Okay, so these facts will be important from your prelims. So if you see here, what is the context? So recently here, Government of India gifted Coverte INS Kirpan to Vietnam. So why? To enhance naval capabilities and to increase bilateral relationship between this India and Vietnam. So if you are focusing on some key facts, so there is nothing like I have to explain, but this is the facts you have to mug up. So it is indigenously built in service missile. So it belongs to Kukri class missile, and it came into commission into Indian Navy in year 1991, and has a capacity to close 1400 tons, and the speed here is 25 knots. Okay, so here this ship is fitted with a medium range gun, 30 mm close range guns, chaff launchers, surface to surface missiles, etc., and have a variety of roles. For example, it is used in the coastal and as well as offshore patrol, and will be helpful for ensuring the coastal safety, surface warfare, anti-piracy, and also used in humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations as well. So this is that ship. Okay, so you can see here. And if you see the location of this Vietnam, here we have this Vietnam, and I already explained you why we are helping this Vietnam with this, right? So here we have, this is South China Sea. So please let me know in the comment box which are the countries sharing boundary with this Vietnam. And here you have to focus on India-Vietnam defense relations, especially in the recent times, how we enhance that. So in June 2022, India and Vietnam, they signed Memorandum of Understanding. So this Memorandum of Understanding on mutual logistic support. And even India and Vietnam, they came up with defense partnership towards 2030. And here Vietnam also procured 12 high-speed patrol boats. Okay, and in 2016, India extended around 500 million defense line of credit to Vietnam, and Vietnam also shared a comprehensive strategic partnership since 2016 with India. And Vietnam, it is the first country in Southeast Asian region with whom India signed the strategic partnership agreement in 2007. Okay, so these are some important things you have to remember, and I already said about the significance of Vietnam to India. And next topic is about captive bred vultures take wing in forest expanses. So if we're talking about this conservation of animals and plants, so we have two types, that is in situ conservation, and next one is ex situ conservation. So please let me know examples for this in situ and as well as ex situ conservation, and I am expecting the answer for this question in the comment box. And if you see the title, it says that captive bred vultures take wing in forest expanses. So if you see context, it says that in 2020, 8 critically endangered vultures, so they belongs to oriental white-backed captive bred vultures. So these 8 vultures had been released into wild for the first time from conservation site, that is Jatayu Conservation. So it is located in Pinjore, Haryana. So this is the first conservation site. So in 1993, there was estimated that 40 million vultures were present in India, according to study. But within 10 years, that is within a decade, what happened? This population had been decreased by 97%. And the sole cause for the death of this vultures here is use of diclofenac. So what is this diclofenac? So if you are having any body pains, have you ever go to any RMP or have you ever go to any hospital to take any injection? So they will be giving injection like aceclofenac or diclofenac. So if you take any painkiller strip, okay, painkiller tablet strip, you will be having the combination of paracetamol plus diclofenac or tramadol or aceclofenac. So this diclofenac and aceclofenac, so they are causing kidney failure or kidney injury in this vultures. So you will be getting doubt like, so how this diclofenac which is present in the medical shop is affecting this vultures, right? So this is the question. So answer for this question is, in the cattle also, in the cattle, if there is any disease which is faced by this cattle, veterinary doctor will be coming and he will be giving injections. So in that injections they will be giving diclofenac. So once this animal is died which took diclofenac, so the remnants, the metabolites of this diclofenac which is present in the dead body of that so and so cattle. So as these vultures, they will be feeding on these carcasses or the dead bodies. So whenever they are feeding this, whenever they are taking this carcass, then this diclofenac will be entering into their body. That is also called as bioaccumulation. So because of this bioaccumulation, so this diclofenac and aceclofenac, they will be leading to the kidney injury. So this kidney injury is the one vital reason for the decrease in the population of these vultures. So there are 3 species of vultures. They are classified as critically endangered by IUCN and also composed of both government and civil society bodies, and they are getting a great protection under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So why we need to focus on this vulture? So why we are focusing and why we are spending money on this vultures? Because to see our surroundings clean. So these vultures are also taking part in this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So I can say this, okay. So they are also taking part in this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and they are removing the dead bodies or carcasses which are present around us. So here this vultures having a lifestyle, that is scavenging lifestyle. Scavenging means nothing but they will be depending on the dead bodies. So they earned a bad reputation because of their lifestyle. But these vultures, they feed on dead bodies. So because of this, they are helping to clean areas to get rid of carcasses. Carcasses means dead bodies. So have you ever smelled any dead body? For example, nowadays there is increased dogs, right? Stray dogs. So if any stray dog which is died, so if there is any dead body of the stray dog which is present near your house, so how will you feel after the next 2 days of the death? There will be a very small foul smell and some dirty smell that will be coming. So because of that smell, you will be also getting headache, you will be also getting vomiting sensation sometimes, right? So if there is no vulture, you can't imagine so what is happening around you. So where these dead bodies will go. So these vultures, they play an important role in get rid of carcasses because they will feed on them and that will helpful to reduce or decrease the foul odors. And if you see, vultures also play an important role in the control of wildlife diseases as well. So how? So whenever there is a dead body is there, what happens? So microorganisms, they will be coming and dead and decaying organisms, there will be there. So because of this, what happened? There is a high chance of transmitting the disease from one animal to another animal. So in this way, if you are removing that, so that will lead to decreasing the chance of wildlife diseases. And also helpful for the disposal of dead bodies. Actually, who will contribute more for this vulture conservation? So this Parsi community will be contributing more actually for the funds, because these people, they will be throwing the dead bodies like that only. They will be not going for setting of fire, or they will be not digging the earth and they will be keeping the dead body. So they will just throw the dead body. Especially this Parsi community, they will be having this culture. So this Parsi community, they will be contributing more for the conservation of vulture than any other community. And vulture, they are primarily carrion eaters in India and as well as Africa. Yes, for the conservation of vultures, we are also coming up with this vulture safety zones. So what exactly this safety zones means? So these are the zones you can see in Asian continent, and similar that you can see in the other continent like Europe and as well as Africa. So here this vulture safety zones are nothing but they are 150-kilometer radius of vulture colonies, and they have to be free from diclofenac or veterinary toxic drugs. Okay, so they are nothing but diclofenac free zones. In India, where we can see these zones, for example, in the Zim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand, and Dudhwa National Park, and Katarnia Gut Forest Reserves in UP, and as well as even in the Indo-Nepal border also we can see this vulture safety zones. So now let us try to talk about vulture breeding centers in India. So as of now, we have 4 vulture breeding facilities. So when we started this, we started in 2005. In 2005, we came with the first facility that is located in Pinjore in Haryana. And later on, we came with Rani in Guwahati, and we have Buksa in West Bengal. We have Bhopal, okay, in Madhya Pradesh. So we have the sites. And even Central Zoo Authority also manages 4 more sites. So first one is Junagadh in Gujarat, next one is Nandankan in Orissa, Hyderabad in Telangana, Mutha in Ranchi. So these are the 4 centers which are managed by Central Zoo Authority separately. And even Ministry of Environment and Forest also came up with a program and released 30 young vultures breeding centers to 3 designated safe zones. And through these breeding facilities, they have been in operation for several years, and we are seeing that vulture reproduction is going on and takes time. And especially if you see young vulture learns to fly, it will take a lot of time, that is 4 to 5 years. Okay, and these projects are very costly, but idea of this vultures, it is very important. Okay, and next topic is artificial intelligence, unlimited potential, the benefits and risks. So if you have no time, so just to go through this infographic, then it is giving a lot of insight. So we are also going to see that. So what happened? Google's DeepMind released the structure of 200 million proteins. 200 million proteins means it is not a simple number, but they used here artificial intelligence. So what are the proteins? The proteins that are present in our body. So here if you see the example of the proteins, pulses, they are rich source of proteins, and as well as animal meat, for example red meat, chicken. So they are also the excellent source of protein, and even soya bean as well. So proteins are composed of linear chain of amino acids. So proteins are nothing but the chain of amino acids, and they are 3D structure. They are arranged in the three-dimensionally. And one way to know this optimal folded structure of proteins, that we can use computation methods, but it will be taking a lot of time. So here DeepMind's AlphaFold made an important breakthrough in 2020, and it predicted the structures of about 100 proteins to atomic resolution, and no other solution came close to this feat. But now, because of using of this artificial intelligence, in a one go we came up with the structures of 200 million proteins, right? So this is one important thing. And if you see here this infographic, you can understand while artificial intelligence will help in democratizing the knowledge and cutting edge science applications, and especially we can understand the protein folding problem, and we came up with achievement of DeepMind's AlphaFold accuracy in structure of identifying the proteins, and it will be helpful. So what is the advantage? So advantage here is it will be helpful for identifying the drugs, new drugs for the rare diseases, and we can also go for robotic synthesizer that can read the research paper, and United Nations Environment Program World Environment Situation Room uses this artificial intelligence to analyze the real-time sensor data, and that is very much helpful for predicting the glacier mass, sea level rise, etc. And even it is used for the image manipulation as well as duplication, And on downside, artificial intelligence, which is dramatically widen the gap between the haves and have-nots. So these are the two important negatives. Okay. And next topic is global GPS data indicates fault slip before large earthquakes. So this article is important from your geography point of view. So GPS is nothing but global position system. So I think you might be using this GPS to find the locations, right? So when you are analyzing this GPS time series data before the large earthquakes, so we can understand that this GPS data will indicate the fault slip. So you have to know what is the fault. So using this GPS data from 3026 geodetic stations, researchers they measured fault displacement before 90 different magnitude of earthquakes. So the magnitude should be from 7 to more than 7. Okay. So here if you see, this is the area where exactly earthquake happened. So this is called as hypocenter, that is the focus area, and exactly above the surface of earth it is called as epicenter, and this line is called fault, and this fault can be measured. So this is about this topic, and you have to refer your NCERT class 11 for this complete chapter, that is earthquake. Okay. So now let us try to see Hindu newspaper PDF. So before seeing that, I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod Science, we came up with this map, that is mains answer writing practice course, and this course it is for 1 year. So here we are going to cover GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4 along with essay and as well as case study. So here daily we will be giving you one question based on the schedule, and we will be giving you the model answer. There will be detailed evaluation of your answer, and there will be live interactive classes on every Sunday, and we will be having doubt clearing sessions, and one-to-one mentorship will be provided. And the cost of this course is just 8,200 rupees for 1 year. So try to enroll this course and you can have an enormous benefits, because mains answer writing it is a challenge, and most of the UPSC aspirants they will be failed because of lack of answer writing skills, and here you can improve your answer writing skills for sure. And if you want to talk to me directly regarding this course, you can call me on this number 8074765513, and this is also the WhatsApp number and Telegram number. You can also ping me there. So now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu. Date is July 20th and today is Sunday. So first topic it is about as tensions raise, Meiteis they forced to leave Mizoram. So here in this Mizoram issue you have to, or in this Manipur issue you have to know Meiteis and as well as Kukis and Zos. Okay, so these were the tribal people who are present, and actually now because of increasing of tension here, people they are forced to leave this Mizoram, right? So you have to know this tribal events and tribal issues in northeastern part, and even you can focus on the tribal movements in the modern history as well. And if you move on in the states page, you can see this article that is regarding cloudburst I discussed, and I discussed regarding this invasive weed which is threatening this, and here you can see this is that invasive species with this yellow flowers. And if you move here, you can see freed laborers bonded to past in Odisha. I discussed this topic, and here you can see about this green cover, and here you have to see this Miyawaki method, especially this Miyawaki method of afforestation that can be used for the increasing of green cover in the urban areas. And here you can see INS Kirpan decommissioned from Indian Navy, handed over to Vietnam. I discussed the topic. And if you move on, here you can see Telemanas helpline run by government has fielded 2 lakh distress calls. So this Telemanas, it is a digital arm of district mental health program, and this program which launched in year 2022, and it is focusing on strengthening the mental health service delivery in the country. And here I discussed about this captive breed vultures. And if you move on to the science page, there is article regarding artificial intelligence I discussed, and I discussed this topic regarding global GPS data, and this topic is not much relevant, and even this topic as well. In FAQ, you can go through this article regarding new standing committee on statistics. I already discussed this topic in detail. And next one is what has to be done to get the zero hunger. So this zero hunger, it is also one of the sustainable development goal. So here you have to see this report, that is Global Report on Food Crisis 2023, so which had recently released, and it said that about 691 million and 783 million people in the world, they are suffering from the hunger in 2022. So these two pandemic years did not record the growth in the food insecurity. Okay, so here you have to see that report, and you have to see the findings of that report and what are the key solutions that we can make. So this is about this topic, and these are some important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathod Science Academy. And if you really like this video, so please hit the like button so that this video will be reaching a lot of people. And try to share this video also.